Imagine this. You're walking through life thinking you've got it all figured out. You're making decisions, building habits, choosing who to trust. You feel in control. But what if I told you, you're not actually thinking, you're reacting? Like a passenger in your own mind, you're being steered by invisible forces, not by logic, not by intelligence, but by ancient mental shortcuts wired into your brain, traps that make you feel smart, while quietly keeping you stuck. The scary part, everyone around you is doing the same thing, but a few people, just a few, see through it. They don't think harder, they think smarter, they ask better questions, they zoom out when others zoom in. And it's not about being a genius, it's about learning one powerful habit that gives you a serious edge. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to break out of mental autopilot and start thinking like the top 10%. So buckle up, because once you see how your brain really works, you won't see the world the same again. You're not thinking, you're reacting, and it's keeping you average. Let me explain. The other day, I watched someone argue for 10 straight minutes about something they clearly didn't understand, like, passionately, and I thought, man, they have no idea, they're just defending a feeling, not a fact. Then I realized, I do the same thing. You probably do too. We all do. Why? Because our brains weren't built for truth. They were built for survival. And that survival system, it comes with some really tricky software, stuff called cognitive biases. These are mental shortcuts your brain takes without asking for permission. It feels like you're making smart choices, but really, your brain is just saving energy. Ever hear about a plane crash and suddenly feel nervous about flying? That's not logic. That's the availability heuristic, a bias that tricks you into thinking something is common just because it's easy to remember. Meanwhile, you're still slipping around in the shower every morning without a second thought. See what I mean? Most people aren't thinking. They're reacting, running on autopilot, making decisions that are really just habits in disguise. But here's the crazy part. The moment you learn to pause, even for a second, you break the script. And that's where the power starts. Let me give you a weapon. It's called second-order thinking, and it's stupidly simple but crazy effective. Here's what most people do. I'll skip the gym today. I'm tired. Done. End of thought. But second-order thinkers? They ask, then what? Skip today. Makes it easier to skip tomorrow. 2 weeks later, you've lost all momentum. You feel like crap. You quit entirely. Boom. Domino effect. That's what thinking deeper looks like. Not just what now, but what next. Your brain doesn't like this. It burns calories to think like this. That's why it would rather scroll through TikTok for 2 hours than sit down and plan your week. But here's the good news. Like any muscle, your brain gets stronger when you push it. One simple habit. Pause before you react. Ask, what's the opposite of what I believe right now? Try to argue against yourself, even if just for fun. It's weird. It's uncomfortable. And that's the point. Most people live in a mental echo chamber. They scroll, consume, react, and repeat. But rarely do they ask the question that separates the smart from the wise. What if I'm wrong? When you start asking questions like that, you see things other people miss. You think while others react. You analyze while others guess. And no, it's not about being cold or robotic. It's about having clarity when the world is panicking. So now, you've got two choices. You can keep watching videos, chasing dopamine, convincing yourself you're learning, or you can pause, think, and do something with this. Because this one habit, this mental discipline, it's the edge that puts you 5 steps ahead of everyone else. Your move.